As most of you know, Joe Biden has won the election, and he has been very vocal about being against the Second Amendment, having firearms, and wanting to take them away from us. So obviously that's a pretty scary thought because any government that doesn't think that you should be able to protect yourself is not a government for the people. So in this video, I want to go over some things that you should have to prepare, things you should get, and things you should look into getting before they're taken away or taxed beyond belief to where we can't afford them, which is more of the likely scenario that's probably going to happen here. One of the first things that I'm going to say is make sure that you and your family are safe. Do what you need to do to protect your family because the government's not here for you. They're not the ones that are going to protect you. They obviously don't care about you if they're going to try to take away your best means of protection, a firearm. So biggest thing that you need to do is take care of yourself and take care of your family. It doesn't matter what anybody else says about what you're doing as long as your family's protected. That's all that matters. With that being said, let's go over some things that you need to get to stay prepared. One of the first things that I think is important is food, having extra food. I don't know if a lot of you like to store food. Canned goods is always good. Something we like to do is can our own food. We'll can like fruits and vegetables. So we make our own applesauce, jams, and things like that, just so you have storage back. It's a really good idea to have a couple months of food storage just in case something does happen. And that's definitely something that could happen, especially with like a pandemic like this is and the economy the way it could go. A lot of scary things that could happen. So having a food storage is really important because you can have all the guns and the ammo in the world. If you don't have food to eat, it's really not going to do you any good. So food is a very important thing when it comes to being prepared for really anything, honestly. It does not necessarily an end of the world situation or a pandemic or a civil war like some people think is going to happen. It's just a good idea and a good practice to get into to always have some kind of food storage and make sure you have something stocked back. Next thing is going to be having the guns that you want and need set up the way you want it to. I know how expensive this can get. I know how hard it can be, especially nowadays with the world being the way it is, the prices of things and just how some people can't work because of the pandemic and things like that and the shutdowns. It makes it tough. So I understand, but before things get taken away, taxed, or basically just removed altogether, I think it's very important that you get the things that you want and that you need. Basically, the rule of thought in my mind is if you've been on the fence about something, if you're kind of on the fence about getting an AR, you're like, I should get an AR, but I don't really know if I should. Do it. If you're like, maybe I really want to get that good optic or that good flashlight to upgrade my gun, but I don't know if I really should right now, do it. Because the first thing that they're going to be going after is taxing ammo, imported goods, and accessories, magazines, things like that. Things that make your gun work. Obviously, the guns themselves are going to be a lot harder to go after. The accessories are going to be a lot easier. Look at the bump stocks, how quick and easy that was. All it took was a mass shooting that they said was used with a bump stock for it to be gone, and how quick and easy that was, and basically no one really did anything to stop them. So be careful because these things are going to start to disappear. I got a T2 here, an aim point, and I've always wanted one, but over the last 3 years, I've had it in my cart for probably the majority of those 3 years, but I just never could bite the bullet with it because it's just so expensive. I mean, this with the scalar sleep mount was $1,000, a little bit more. And I finally did it because of what was happening. Once Joe Biden won and I knew the whole process was actually going through, I ordered this pretty quickly because I knew this is one of the best on the market. And I figured, you know what, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now. So I recommend if you guys have something that you want to upgrade your gun with, you're like, okay, maybe I have a flashlight, but it's not really the best. I should have got something better like a Surefire, Mod Light, Cloud Defensive flashlight. Do it now. Now's the time to do it. If you want to upgrade your optics are super important. Bolt carriers, things like that. Get them upgraded and do it before things get a lot worse. Because the thing is pricing on all this stuff is not going to get better. The demand is not going to go down. So everything's going to either go up or stay where it's at and just be really out of stock. So getting it while you can is very important. I'm very glad I made this purchase. I think this is important. I wanted to have at least one gun that is absolutely bulletproof in my mind, and I think this is it. I've actually got a couple other. I've got one for my wife that I've built and a couple extra ones that I think are really well set up, but this is probably by far the best that I've made, and I'm really happy with it. So I definitely recommend getting those parts and accessories that maybe you're iffy about. Next is going to be magazines. This is going to be something you're going to see go away. 30 round magazines down to 10, down to none. So get your magazines. They're cheap still. I mean, magazines are like anywhere from $10 to $20. Buy the bundles if you want to save money. Split them between people. You know, find some people that need to get them. If you have 4 magazines and you think that's enough, it's not. Having magazines is hugely, hugely important. So if you don't have enough magazines, the Mag Shack is where I usually go to. They always have really good deals and they're almost always in stock. That's what I like to buy, and I think they do a great job. So I like to support them as a company. Also, I do have discount codes down below if you guys are looking for accessories and stuff like that. I have a bunch of discount codes down below that helps out with support my channel along with giving you a nice discount. But magazines is a very important thing to get because your guns aren't going to do you much good if you don't have magazines to put in them. And then going along right into that is going to be ammo. I know ammo is so difficult to find right now. It's very expensive. If you have a stockpile, don't shoot too much of it. Keep it back, set it aside, and continue to buy maybe more for training and things like that, because training is very important. But right now, training with the ammo that you have set aside for just in case is probably not a good idea. We've been talking about this for a while now, making sure you had ammo stocked up, making sure you had everything, because obviously the market was so good and the pricing was so low. You know, everyone was kind of waiting. Unfortunately, some people waited too long. So if you need ammo, you gotta do what you gotta do. None of this works. None of this does you any good. You can have the fanciest AR in the world. It's not gonna do any good if you don't have enough ammo for it. So save some money, put it towards ammo, and put it aside. And then if you have some extra money and extra time, put it towards training if you can. So ammo is wildly important, and that's gonna be something you're gonna see being taxed. Prices are gonna skyrocket, availability is gonna go away. It's the little things like that that they're gonna go after. Things like the firearms themselves are gonna be so difficult, along with like gun policy, and those people that are gonna be fighting so hard to keep these in our hands, it's gonna be really hard for them to take them away. They can do some things to make it more difficult, but it's gonna be really hard for them to go away. So they're gonna really attack the smaller things that are a little bit easier to go after. The ATF's gonna make up more rulings that they just randomly wake up in the middle of the night and decide that, hey, we're gonna change the ruling, we're gonna write a letter and make everyone felons. You're gonna see a lot more of that. And the last thing that I'm gonna tell you guys is have a plan. Find some like-minded people that are around your area, that are local to you, and not only local, but around your community and inside the firearms community. Have a plan with those people. Get something set up, talk to them, keep in communication. We've already seen that these big tech places are gonna be hiding us and not allowing the First Amendment anymore, because they obviously wanna take away the amendments and create their own rules. So we're seeing that already, and it's happening pretty quickly. So keep in communication. Just saying, hey, I have them on Instagram is not a good thing, because it's very quickly they can take that away. So following people on different platforms that they have, trying to stay close, get people's cell phone numbers, email addresses, Discords, things like that I've been working on. I've been actually reaching out to a lot of people, getting their cell phone numbers just so I have a communication. But make sure you have a plan with your friends, your family, and people that you know in the community, and then also keep in contact with those that are around you and surrounding you, because that's going to be really important when or if they decide to completely eliminate social media for us and not letting us have our First Amendment and be able to have freedom of speech, which is something that they're obviously starting to pick away at. So having that communication with people is going to be wildly important. The biggest thing is making sure you, yourself, and your family are protected and safe, and having a plan and making sure you have the supplies you need to be safe and carry out those plans. I don't think anybody wants to see a war. I'm praying that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do what's absolute best for this country and the people, and they aren't focused on what's best for themselves and the government. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. Just going to be honest. I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm praying every day that it does. And I would love to say in 4 years, wow, I was wrong, and they did a fantastic job, and they did absolutely what was best for this country. But I am going to prepare for what I think is actually going to happen, and that's what we talked about here. So just make sure you're safe. Make sure you're protected. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. No one wants to see a war. No one wants to go to a civil war or a boog that people keep talking about. No one wants to see your family be in pain and struggle. Do whatever we can. Support the people that are out there. You got the gun policy, a bunch of places like that that are doing their best to fight for our rights and fight for the things that we need. Not so much the NRA. If you're part of the NRA, whatever, but I don't think they do a very good job at all. I think there's way better people out there that do. So I can speak about this all day. Obviously, there's just so much to talk about with what's going on, but I don't want to get too wildly political. Just make sure you're prepared, because these next 4 years are going to be interesting. That's all I can say. I mean, that's without making this video like 45 minutes long. That's about all I can say. It's going to be very interesting. Be prepared. Pray for the best. Prepare for the worst. And remember, God is always in control. So thank you guys so much for everything you do for me here on the page. Sorry I have not made a video in a while. Just had my son a month early. So that has kind of a disaster. He's actually sleeping right there in front of me. Beckham's in the bedroom sleeping. He's sleeping right there. Kayla's trying to get some stuff done. So it's been a really, really busy time. School just started back up. and we're in the process of selling our house and moving. So with everything going on, it's just absolutely insane time right now. Appreciate Howitzer for everything they do for me. They're a fantastic company. I love them because they support their first responders, military guys by donating proceeds. Every time you purchase a shirt, it goes directly to them, and they donate over $200,000 last year, and that's really cool. So super cool company, love them and love the support that they do, and they support me a lot. So if you guys want to check them out, link will be in the description. To support me in the channel and the things I do, there's some discount codes down below. Using those discount codes give you a good discount along with giving me some kickback, which helps me purchase things, because right now getting ammo for these tests and reviews is really difficult, but that does help support me and the channel a lot, along with links down there to my website. From there you can go to other links like Brownells. Anything you purchase using those links gives me a small kickback and shows those companies I'm generating traffic, which is a good thing. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all.